Now give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to start by thanking Special Envoy Pedersen and Director Wozournou for their briefings, and I also welcome the representative of Syria to this meeting. Mr. President, I wish to highlight the following 4 points. First, as the security landscape in Syria remains fragile, there is no room for sectarian divisions. It has been only a few days since the latest outbreak of violence in Sueda, where hundreds of civilians have reportedly been killed or injured and thousands more have been displaced. We deeply regret that these attacks have become another link in the chain of sectarian violence in the country, following the recent attack against the Greek Catholic Church of Mar Michael in Sawara, the terrorist bombing attack against the Greek Orthodox Church of Mar Elias in June, and the abhorrently violent incidents targeting mostly Alawites, Druze, as well as Christians last March and May. Greece strongly condemns the violence against civilians and attacks against religious sites, and will continue to do so should this situation persist. We stand in solidarity with Syria and the victims and express our condolences to all Syrians. Syrians, united through their deep-rooted history and vibrant heritage based on cultural and religious diversity, must overcome violence and extremism in all their manifestations. It is clear that there is no room for sectarian violence or hate rhetoric against any ethnic or religious groups of Syrian society. It is also clear that the transitional authorities must guarantee security for all Syrians and hold the perpetrators of these deplorable events accountable promptly and without delay. We take note of the ceasefire reached on 19th of July, yet the situation, volatile as it remains, requires that the agreement is fully respected. This is a prerequisite for the restoration of peace and for the success of Syria's political transition and reconstruction. Cooperation with the United Nations is equally important, as the humanitarian needs in Sueda and across the country remain high, which brings me to my second point. Greece, along with the United Nations and the international community, is committed to providing humanitarian assistance to those that need it and to contributing effectively to the reconstruction of Syria. However, humanitarian aid remains limited, as 16 million people are currently in acute need of support. Health facilities operate under extremely precarious conditions, food insecurity and lack of water persist, and the overall needs for recovery and reconstruction remain immense. Greece is ready to contribute with all means necessary. In the same spirit, the European Union was swift in lifting sanctions as part of a gradual, conditional and reversible approach to support Syria. We shall continue to closely monitor developments on the basis of concrete progress on accountability, inclusiveness of the political process, and continuous respect for international law. We need to ensure that voluntary, safe, dignified and sustainable return of Syrian refugees and internally displaced persons to their homes becomes a viable option for them. Third, Greece supports a fully inclusive political transition in line with the principles of Security Council Resolution 2254. All Syrians deserve a future shielded from ethnic and religious fragmentation, with representatives of all communities and components within the government, and a new constitution echoing all the voices of the Syrian society. In the same spirit, the March agreement with the SDF must be carefully implemented by both sides in the framework of an environment of guaranteed security for all and with no interference from outside actors. Similarly, the integration of all armed groups into national security forces, combined with a sustainable solution to the issue of foreign fighters, is critical for the establishment of a stable security environment in the country. Terrorist and extremist elements cannot and must not have a place in the future of Syria. Fourth, Respect for international law, including the international law of the sea, is a key prerequisite for the successful integration of any country in the international community. After all, international law constitutes our collective compass, the cornerstone for the establishment of amicable and strong relations among states. The sovereign rights of neighboring countries, both on land and at sea, must be respected at all times in accordance with UNCLOS, which constitutes customary international law. Mr. President, the recent outbreak of violence in Sweden was another stark reminder of the pressing need to maintain and protect the rich and diverse ethnic and religious mosaic of the country. Greece fully supports Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity and has repeatedly stressed the need for the respect of the 1974 Disengagement of Forces Agreement and the work of UNDOF. Historically tied with Syria, Greece warmly supports the vision of all Syrians to achieve the progress and prosperity they deserve. I thank you.
Thank the representative of Greece for the statement. And